Okay, so here we are in the backyard. It's the June long weekend, not long weekend, solstice weekend. You can see that there is sweet potato growing all over the pathways. So today what I've come across is I've been doing a big chop and chop in the food forest. So I can actually see through it now. That was really, really dense. But what I've come across everywhere is an absolute city and network of bandicoot tunnels. That's probably not the best place to look, but yeah, mounds of soil everywhere. And it's under a rock. So here you can see, like, along the edge of here, like the hole, that there's a tunnel all the way through there where the soil has collapsed. And I've just been finding network upon network of, it's obviously they're loving it here. So many openings like this with big mounds of soil out the side, sort of going in under different trees. None of the fruit trees seem to have suffered, but a lot of the pigeon peas seem to have, with this and along with all the rain, been fallen over. So here's one of the smaller pigeon peas. So I've just taken all the foliage off that and see if I can prop it back up, see if it reshoots, and if not, it's done its job in fixing nitrogen into the soil. So that is all good and well. So I've been chopping and dropping like crazy. So I've got a lot of pigeon pea, of course, a yakon, which I've actually got some here. I've dug a few up. Actually got my first little piece of ginger, and yeah, so yakon there, and then I've got a few arrowroots. So I'm going to try and bake those up or make a stir fry or something. Letting a bit of light through now to some of these trees that have really been enjoying all this wet weather. So that's lychee. Yeah, so all the way along here there's been differing little holes and burrows, and really quite often quite close in. No, I think I sort of backfilled all of that, but quite close in towards the root balls of trees. Yeah, it's just massive deep holes right near the base of the tree. So this is a japoticaba, and yeah, so nothing seems to be suffering too much for it, but I will be sort of mounding the soil back up in the main structures to have the pathways, because that is meant to be a pathway along here. That's got a big mound of soil right in the middle, so I will be sort of filling that back in. But yeah, just amazing. These networks are just so extensive. Oh, just something that is a bit cracking good to look at is this is the best I've ever seen this. There's another hole there, just everywhere. So the base of this is actually falling over, so I'll be looking to pop it out. But this is the tamarillo. Look at that, absolutely. So I've only ever seen leaves on that have been not very happy with insects sort of boring into them and things like that. Banana circle's going nuts. No bananas this year, but really hoping that when we get back into spring summer that we will have some then next year. So where I actually started today is at the bottom. Paul helps. Paul actually removed this pigeon pea that's all there. That was in here and it's falling over because of the burrows. So it was just in here because of the burrows that the bandicoots had made. The chicken tunnel's all overgrown here, so I'm really, but at this end, I've noticed it's quite clear inside the tunnel. So I think that it's made like quite, the bandicoots have been using that, and there's various holes in there as well. So I've been really tried to clear away heaps of undergrowth from here today. So when Paul pulled out this pigeon pea, just left the roots in place. So you know, all of the roots in place hopefully have any nitrogen fixing that they did. Haven't found, because of course I'm not near the base, you know, the ends of the roots to be able to see any nitrogen nodules, because of course they can fix nitrogen if they're inoculated with the right, what do you call it? Oh, that looks like there could be some. Yeah, there we go. That's what we're looking for. So here, but now that I've pulled some out, we've got nitrogen nodules on the roots. So that makes me really happy to know that the right, what do you call it, inoculation is happening in the soil. And I would hope also that means that as I plant new seeds, or they self-sow, that I don't need to worry too much about new inoculant. If the right microbes are in the soil, that they should continue to inoculate all the other nitrogen fixing plants, which of course another one is acacia. Got the chickies over there, so I'm looking to let them sort of into this part of the yard. Really concentrating on this tunnel first, so if I can free up enough of this, just like the soil's looking awesome. And I'm jumping all over the place here, but the soil that's being dug up by the bandicoots, like no wonder they're making their home here, and I'm sure that they are networking into this area of the food forest. So that looks like might be where that goes, because there is so many grubs and life in the soil. Yeah, so I've got like a whole mound there. Don't even know where the hole is that belongs to that. Yeah, they're industrious little beings. So I've cut back loads of everything. Yeah, this really was dense in here. The fact that I can actually see through is pretty awesome. So still just got that top corner to go to chop down a lot of that arrowroot, because it's really just too tall and falling over and taking things with it. Sort of the things that I've been really surprised to see. Oh, also the custard apple. So some of these tropical plants, you can tell, have really enjoyed all of this rain and then just sort of taken off. So that's something new happening here. Nice big leaves on the custard apple. So it was sort of bent over by everything else that was going on here. Here is the Pinkerton avocado. It's died back in the centre there. Bottom leaves are okay, so that's and I've chopped down enough now to allow some dappled light through, but still got a bit to go that way to improve the light coming through, because you know, we're going into the dead of winter now, so I want to make sure that I'm doing a combination of two things, that I am allowing light through but not cutting back too much so that the cold winds are coming through. I want to keep that sort of protected feel. This is the Irwin mango. Something else I did notice today is the bacon that we put in September has died back. And something that I did think was odd about this, it just goes to show the network of Bandicoot City that's going on here. Look how many holes there are. Is the new shoot of the base of this grafted bacon, but it was bacon grafted onto a bacon, which didn't make sense to me when I read it at the time. But I'm just thinking I'm just going to leave that go and see what happens. The pumpkin never died back, so that's a bit odd. So now it gets more light. I'm wondering what will happen. So I think just being, this has all been really closed in and sort of forested. That light wasn't coming through there before either. Base of the banana here is massive, right up against the compost bin. This little mango is just as sick as it always has been. So we're looking at replacing it in spring. More networks and divots, which are just collapsed tunnels of bandicoots. I cut back a stack of comfrey there this morning. The raspberries growing all around the mulberry there are really gone wild. I'm going to have to work out how to stake them up. Cut back like heaps of plants of perennial basil, which is a bit of a pity because of the bees, but there's plenty of plants out in the front yard. Yeah, and they were just getting overgrown across the pathways. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to look at some sort of metal framework to prop these up and thread them through, I think. So I think I would really want like quite a wide, like not Rio, but just like getting towards that sort of Rio sized mesh to loop around here. I have noticed a couple of rosemaries have died. Obviously it's just been too wet for them, and so there was one here, so this one's doing okay. The one that was here has died back, and so these are on the outer edge of the circles. So I've done that on purpose so that they're not sitting in water, that they're as free draining as can possibly be the case. So that's been intentional. Okay, so that's a bit of an update on the food forest. The fig, similarly, is not looking great. You know, I realise it's losing its leaves about now anyway. It's only got 2 left, but they don't look healthy. I would have thought that they would just turn yellow and drop off. And what have we got here? This is our macadamia. So that's getting plenty more light now. And what's growing up here is cowpea. So, you know, that's an annual. So the fact that it's entangling around, I'm not too concerned about that unless it causes too much weight. Then I will be concerned. I'm just looking at more bandicoot holes, I think. Right, it looks like they started one and didn't make it very far. Yeah, so that's what's happening.